What to expect in Utah's culture. Now, this can be very controversial videos. Knowing that I'm a real estate agent, I'm going to be very open and broad to having you understand culture and what's going on in Utah right now, especially if you're someone who's trying to know where to live in Utah, or if you're just trying to come to Utah in general to see if it would fit your family. Hi, my name is Jenny. I'm a real estate agent, and I've been an agent for about 10 years, and I'm with Real Broker. I hope to be that realtor for you that you reach out to, that you can connect with, and that you can trust in my ability and my skills. So reach out if you already want to, but if not, let's jump into this video and talk about Utah's cultures. Okay, I'm going to get really comfy on this one because right now Utah's culture is really being zoned in on because of the Secret Lives of Mormon Wives videos, with what's going on with the Christianity here in Utah, a lot of politics, things are swinging and changing a little bit here. So I live in Utah and I definitely can feel the pressure of people trying to understand, like, what is the culture and the vibe like in Utah? Like, are we liberal? Are we still Republican? You know, are we high Mormon base? Are we not? Like, lots of different things, right? The 4 things that we're going to be going over is obviously religion, the outdoor and adventure culture, which is what everybody loves to talk about. Number 3, conservative meets progressive. That's the way I'm going to say that, okay? We're going to get into what that means though. And number 4, family and entrepreneurship, and actually motivated to make money. So let's start off with religion, okay? So I'm going to be very transparent with you, okay? As a real estate agent, I want you to not only know me, I want you to like me, but I also want you to trust me. So I grew up in the Mormon church, and I'm no longer an active participant in that. And it took me a while to kind of tell people that because of the judgment that might be happening over here. Some people really like the idea that the culture of having a Mormon Christianity brings. Other people don't, because they know it brings them judgment and they feel like they have to be a certain way or act a certain way. Either way, people in Utah are kind. They'll give off their backs. They may be a little judgmental, but they'll be there if you want them to be there. The Mormon religion has created a culture where you need to know your neighbors. You should love your neighbors. You should be able to go and get a cup of flour from your neighbors. Whether you are in that religion or not, it is a culture that has been created here in Utah of, we want to have each other's backs. We want to make sure our kids are safe in school. We want to make sure they're growing up with opportunities of education. We want to make sure that our children have fun and get connected with the earth through gardening or through homeschooling or through the adventures of camping. That is the kind of culture and environment that the religion base has brought in. Now, that's not to say, this thing is like totally attacking me. I probably should move it. But that's not to say that there aren't other religions out there that have an effect on Utah. A lot of pushback on the Mormon religion, and I happen to be one of those, of let us think and feel and act the way we want to think, feel, and act. But then some people make the pendulum swing, and some people like that. We're very, Salt Lake City is very focused on pride and letting people know that people can be who and what they want to be. Whether that's something that you like or not, it is something that's being introduced as a new thing here in Utah, where religion is really trying to combat that. Natural sense of a mainstream Christianity. That's not to say we don't have people who are agnostic, who are atheists, who are Pentecostal, who are Catholics, who are non-denominational. We have a lot of it. The statistics used to be that over 50% of the people are Mormons. That statistic has fallen. So we're in a little bit of a transition state, as you can see, but very still high predominant in making sure that our children are safe. People seem to think that Christianity is connected with low crime and family-oriented basis. And maybe it is, maybe it's not, but that is a definite culture here in Utah, is supporting the family, supporting the neighbor, and supporting the job opportunities. The number one reason why people are moving to Utah is outdoor, recreational, and adventure culture that we have created here in Utah. I had no idea how blessed I am to be living in Utah until I started my YouTube channel. I was trying to compare myself to other states, and I was like, whoa, Utah is like incredible when it comes to 30-minute access to the mountains, 30-minute access to camping, 30 minutes to skiing, to hiking, to biking, to fishing, whatever it is. You've got all 4 seasons, summer, winter, fall, and spring here. Spring is a little shorter than normal places, but that's just here or there. The ability to have vibrance of snow on the mountaintops and the redwood down south. So in St. George, you've got Bryce Canyon, you've got Zion's Canyon, you got the Grand Canyon, you got the Four Corners. You got access to that in a matter of just 3 hours of living here. My family and I just went to Yellowstone. Now that's not in Utah, but the instant access that we have of making a 5-hour trip to go see one of the world's greatest, what do they call it? The 7 wonders. Utah holds a lot of opportunities for that. And I had some clients come into town and they were just in awe of the fact that you could just immediately go up to the canyon, start a fire, and roast some hot dogs right then and there. I have some clients who just love the idea of instantly hitting the slopes. There are ski slopes everywhere here in Utah. And because the weather is dry, we know it's like one of the best snow in the world, right? Not only of that, Utah has created a culture of fitness, of being connected with the earth, growing gardens, that conservative side of wanting to be more hippie in the plants, that is thriving. Now, I lived in Oregon for a couple of years, so I know that vibe is still here, but boy, do we still love our box goods. Boy, do we still love our food stores, right? So we're getting a lot more diversity, and I'm a foodie of like cultures of farm to table, which I want more of. I used to say about 10 years ago, we need more like good dining, like chefs. Not so many franchises. Like Utah's really known for a lot of franchises, but there's a lot of culture now where we're trying to connect the earth to the people, and the amount of waterfalls that you can hike, the amount of lakes that you can just go and throw a kayak or a canoe on or your paddleboard on is incredible. I spend my whole summer camping. I don't even care to go outside of Utah because Utah is my oyster here in the summertime. And that is definitely the #1 seller of the culture of living here in Utah. With that being said, that means more people want land, and that's becoming harder and harder to get here in Utah. People want to store their RVs or in their four-wheelers and whatever it might be on their land. But Utah does have the options of storing all your RVs and whatever in other places as well. I would say Utah County is more people might come after me for this one, more friendly as far as more land opportunities are concerned to park your RV, where Salt Lake is a little bit less that way. Salt Lake has more of a vibe of the culture of city vibe, but still wanting to hit. Whereas Salt Lake is like, we're going for 5 days. We're going to go camping. We're going to go hit the dunes. We're going to go run and do our four-wheelers. We're going to go hunting. We're going to go hiking. So a little bit of a difference, but that doesn't mean that there's not a hit and miss in that. Some people might come after me for saying that one. This is a hot topic here in Utah, and that is conservative meets progressive. Utah has been known for a very long time for being conservative, self-reliant, Republican. We're seeing a shift. It's not a large shift, but we are seeing a shift of being challenged in the thoughts of our culture and what that was like, the gender roles. The mom does this and the dad does this, being definitely challenged in all different areas. And I think that other states are also experiencing that as well, where it's affecting the corporate world a little bit here, a lot more entrepreneurs. And we're going to talk about that one as well. But to see that we are now accepting more of progressive thoughts than conservative. Now, Salt Lake City for sure is getting more progressive. The more further you get out, very conservative still. I've got a garden. I'm growing onions and zucchini and pumpkins and watermelon and corn and tomatoes, right? Very self-reliant in that way of wanting to do things on your own. But the more you're in the city, the more progressive you are. And I think that's pretty normal for other states across the board as well. So there's really not much to say about that. The election year was closer to the blue than I ever thought it would be. Whether that is something that I'm pro or con against, I don't talk politics in real estate, but I definitely like to hear both sides of the parties. And I think that that's what we're starting to see across the state is more open to conversations and more open to accepting everything else besides what the culture used to be in Utah, because Secret Lives of Mormon Lives has created a lot of conversations. One of my favorite things about Utah, minus the outdoor and the adventures, is the family-oriented and entrepreneurship culture created here in Utah. The drive and the energy to put into your family to be successful so that you can take the vacation, so you can create the memories, so you can provide the lifestyle for your children is probably one of my favorite things about Utah. And that has been instilled for a very long time, whether that's been altered or shifted a little bit through the progressiveness of Utah. The root of it really is making sure the kids are safe, they have opportunities to excel, the entrepreneurships have the fundamentals that they need from the government for tax purposes for businesses. businesses. The government has definitely attracted a lot of businesses because of the way we have set up our tax purposes here in Utah. I love how family-oriented Utah is. I would say my favorite thing about Utah is making sure that a family unit is taken care of. Now, I was a single mom here in Utah, and I definitely felt a little judged, though I wasn't going to let that affect me. There is more acceptance of diversity now of what a family looks like here in Utah. So don't be afraid that if your family looks a certain way, or also don't be afraid that if you want a family to look a certain way. I've had both conversations with both different types of clients where they have a specific goal in mind for their family and they want to know if Utah is going to support that. And I would definitely try to help guide you in that demographic as far as education, as far as the safety and the crime of that. My license can only go so far, right? But just to know that the family unit is very important, no matter what that family unit looks like for you. More accepting of adoptions and IVF, whereas religion did play a big toll on that in years past. Whereas now, entrepreneurship, don't get me started on the colleges here, the scholarships that are here, the opportunity of the energy. Provo and Orem have such a large energy of entrepreneurship, and the world is your oyster. Looking at the world in a positive way. So I love that Utah has created that culture. Those are the top 4 topics, you guys. I hope that helps you understand and kind of guides you on what's important to you and what you want for your lifestyle, whether you have a family or where you want the outdoor life or you are religious, whatever it is, we will welcome you here in Utah. Price point, whatever it is, I would love to be that realtor for you to walk you through this process. So reach out to me through Instagram, through texting, through email. I have a Calendly link down there below. You can just set up a time with me. Let's chat. Let's talk about your situation because I would love to be that person to guide you through this process. And I'll see you guys in my next video.